Hello. The denomination I'd like to discuss are the Amish. Even though we're talking about their importance to American history, I think it's important to give some of the backstory. Theologically, the Amish are Anabaptist. Anabaptists separated from the Catholic Church in 1522 at the direction of Ulrich Zwingli. The Amish themselves separated from the wider Anabaptist community in 1693 under the direction of Jacob Amann, where they derived their name from, due to concerns that the wider Anabaptist community was becoming too liberal. Even though they settled in Germany, due to persecutions from both Catholics and other Protestants, they soon had to flee, eventually retreating to the mountains of Switzerland. This too proved to be unsatisfactory, and many soon crossed the Atlantic to settle in Pennsylvania, which not only ensured religious freedom, but also had ample land to farm. Some traits of the Amish include plain dress, avoidance of technology, use of home churches rather than formal churches. This dates back to the European persecution when they had to hide their faith. An aversion to violence that prevents them from serving in the armed forces, and a near-total separation from government and politics. For example, they are exempt from Social Security taxes and a requirement for healthcare that all other Americans must have. They also do not pay into or receive workers' compensation. Many do not also vote, as they adhere to a two kingdoms theology, which states that there is a material and spiritual kingdom, and the spiritual kingdom is more important. It must be the focus of life rather than temporal affairs. They believe in helping each other rather than outsourcing charity to the government. Thus, in a way, they represent how America was envisioned by the founders, self-governing people who relied on God and each other instead of government. Due to this, they seek to maintain uniformity and practice disassociation or shunning of members who deviate from their strict moral standards. Despite this, due to their extremely high birth rate, they are among the fastest growing religious community in the United States. Another thing about the Amish I want to point out is the relations with the various Native American tribes. As early as 1809, the Amish were farming side by side with Native Americans in Pennsylvania. Unlike other settlers who killed Native Americans and who frequently spoke of a manifest destiny to convert the Native Americans to Christianity, the Amish did not engage in warfare against any tribes, nor did they believe they had a divine right to conquer lands which was already inhabited by others. In fact, after the Indian Removal Act of 1832 passed, which forcibly deported tens of thousands of Native Americans of various tribes, the Amish actually incorporated Native Americans into their families to protect them from persecution. Without this, there might have been a lot less Native Americans in the present day. But I think the most important contribution the Amish have brought to the United States is the legal precedents that have been raised over their aesthetic lifestyle. For example, the Amish only believe in education until the 8th grade. This brought them into conflict with the state of Wisconsin, which mandated compulsory education to the age of majority. In the landmark court case Wisconsin v. Yada, the Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment's free exercise of religion clause included the right to keep children out of high school. Furthermore, this decision is still cited today among many dissident religious communities as upholding their right to set up private schools for their children or even homeschooling their children. Thusly, the Amish represent the best of America, religious freedom, which at its core means freedom from government interference in religion.